Hello, I'm Skyler Hamilton. I'm running for Orem City Council, making this video to give a quick update for all those who do not know about the election, and then to give some succinct answers as to some of the issues and why you should vote in this election. August 13th, Tuesday, August 13th, is the primary election. There are 13 people running for City Council. The primary will knock it down to 6. Those 6 will race for the general election in November, and of those 6, 3 will become City Council members. The mayoral race, there are 4 candidates. The primary will knock them down to 2, and then, of course, there will be 1 mayor. Any information in terms of the precinct you vote at or whether or not you're registered, go to vote.utah.gov. Now, why am I running? Well, I believe in the principles of the Declaration of Independence, that governments are there to protect your rights, that your rights are inherent, unalienable, and that they're not gifts from government, that you have them by virtue of your humanity, that government is there to protect your rights. That's it. So my standard for you, the people of Orem, will be one that values individual freedom, free markets, low taxes, low regulations, and any measure that supports your rights, I'm for. Any measure that infringes on them, I'm against. It's that simple. The Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the state of Utah are there to help protect your rights. And in fact, every city council member and the mayor swear an oath to support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the state of Utah. Therefore, I think that's a pretty good way to measure and evaluate certain candidates, is will they keep their oath. I promise I will keep my oath for you, the people of Orem. Now, taxation. I will not support any tax increase. I will not vote to increase your taxes, your property tax, any taxes. I will not vote to increase your taxes. Okay? We need to really evaluate the budget because we do not have a revenue problem. We have a spending problem. And a lot of these big government programs that I'm going to diss on in a minute, we can cut there. Just flat out cut there because it's not in harmony with the proper role of government. It's not in harmony with the Constitution of the state of Utah. Now, the property tax referendum, I signed it. I thank Wayne Burr, Hans Anderson, those who organized it, and acquired the signatures for it. I hope the voters in November will vote against it. It was large part to make up for the blunder of UTOPIA, which I will cover in a second. Now, overall, in terms of a philosophy, we need to recognize that government is force. Government is not reason, it is force. And therefore, we need to look to the founders and see what they championed as a way to fund government. And they always funded excise taxes or use taxes. That the premise was that those that use the service would pay for it. Therefore, government never becomes the medium, the vehicle by which some benefit at the expense of other people. Now, those that want a tax increase, I have a plan for you. There is nothing that stops you from donating the equivalent that you would like others to pay yourself. There's nothing to stop that. If you think it's as small as $4 a month, well, that's a big deal for a lot of people. Okay? Why don't you donate $4 extra a month? There's nothing stopping you, but there's nothing that justifies you using government to burden them further, especially for services they don't even have, let alone may not desire, such as UTOPIA. Now, the debt. This issue is overlooked. It's overlooked as a moral issue. But you have to recognize the city of Orem, debt percentage increase since 1998 is worse than the federal government. 430% debt increase. Okay? We have a debt problem. Now, you as an individual, if you have a goal to strive to be debt-free, why should you expect anything less from your government? In fact, if you cannot ring up a credit card and obligate someone else to pay it in your behalf, how could you ever legitimately authorize your agents in government to do so in your behalf? Okay? I agree with Jefferson. that in a large degree the fortune of our republic depends on the extinguishment of public debt. Now, I am opposed to utopia as an obligation of the city from start to finish. This is a project we should never have gotten involved in, and this is a project we should not continue to be involved in. There are even limits to the liability of the member cities in the interlocal agreement. There are ways to get out, and we can explore those. But I want to talk about this in a wider basis. Utah Constitution is very clear. Okay, this is Article 12, Section 20, okay, of the Utah Constitution, which is the guiding document, right? It is the policy of the state of Utah that a free market system shall govern trade and commerce in this state to promote the dispersion of economic and political power and the general welfare of all the people, not this group or everyone being taxed for the benefit of those who use utopia or for utopia itself. Okay? That's not general welfare, that's particular welfare. Therefore, this whole project is in violation of this constitutional premise. Each contract, combination in the form of trust or otherwise, or conspiracy in restraint of trade or commerce is prohibited. Okay? Therefore, we need to assert the constitutional precedent, and that's free markets. Now, this brings me to economic development in general. Now, there are two very different camps in this race. There's one camp that includes me. Free markets. Low taxes, low regulations, no more intrusive and burdensome sign ordinances for people like Brenda Burrell, Pebbles in My Pocket, and others. Okay? We need to trust a consumer-based approach that led this country to be the strength that it was. Okay? There's another approach that's the top-down, tax-incentivized, tax-subsidized approach that includes public-private partnerships. Okay? Now remember, anything government gives, it takes. Okay, so any of these is in violation of the Constitution, as I have just shown. But think about it. Why would anyone accept the notion that the government can spend your money on your behalf more wisely than you can yourself? Okay? Therefore, no, I am not for any of these top-down solutions. If we want to get back to the prosperity we're used to, we need to trust the principles that led to it. If we want the end of civil freedom and peace and prosperity, we need to conform to the path that leads to it. And those are the principles of the Constitution and the principles the Founding Fathers espoused. Now remember, Utopia was a public-private partnership. Midtown Village was a public-private partnership. The results, the negative implications of this term, actively promoting economic development, should be very clear to everyone, especially when you drive on State Street and you look at that monument to the improper role of government. Now, remember, it's competition that brings about good results. That's what provides high-quality services for lower prices. Government's role is to create an environment where people's rights are secured, and then they are free to economically interact as they will. That's what naturally drives economic development. No top-down so-called solution which acts as if these people can spend your money in your behalf more wisely than you, even though you ironically elected these people, will ever substitute for actual free market solutions. Now, the care tax. I am opposed to the care tax. I'm going to read you the first paragraph of what I wrote to the Daily Herald on this topic. The care tax interferes with the free enterprise system and is a perversion of the principle behind even having excise taxes at all. It is never legitimate for government to become the vehicle by which some benefit at the expense of other people. People, via the care tax, are expropriated to fund a segment of the economy they may not choose for themselves. Were they allowed that choice, which should actually be their own. This is wrong. In fact, it has been said that there is no worse tyranny than to force a man to pay for what he does not want, merely because you think it would be good for him. Now, it is a logical fallacy to say that just because I don't want the government to do it, I don't want it done at all. Just because I don't want the government to take from people to support a certain sector of the economy or a certain industry or hobby does not mean I don't want it done at all. Doesn't mean I hate the arts. I love the arts. They should be supported. In fact, they should earn their business and rely on voluntary donations just like anyone else. But it's not even about the arts. This issue goes deeper. If this money, instead of going to the arts, was going to saloons and coffee shops, I am sure that people would see the underlying premise and moral argument that is to be had on this issue. I think that pretty much says it all. Now, if there are any other issues I have not covered, I'm trying to make this as short as I can, as I know I'm long-winded though. If there are any other questions or concerns, please feel free to contact me. My email is skylerhamilton@msn.com. My phone number is 801-687-8305. You can visit, I have two websites, freedomfororem.com or freedomorbust.net. And feel free, I want to be representative, and I want to keep my oath of office and fight for lower taxes and fight for you, really truly represent you, the people of Orem, and strive to protect your rights and limit government. As your city councilman, I will do my best to revive and restore those fundamental principles that made this country great here at a local level. And in so doing this, I will refuse my salary and that have it go instead to legitimate public services. It has been an honor running, and I hope for your vote, August 13th. Thank you so much.